That it has a full greenhouse canopy over the top of the pilots, the two pilots in the airplane. Actually, there's only one in the airplane, but there's two seats in the airplane. Here goes Mark on his takeoff roll. And the second aircraft on the roll. The PT-19, very similar to the PT-26, but without the greenhouse canopy. Now this one, with its radial engine, will actually be a PT-23, but most PT-23s don't have that greenhouse roof. That was an add-on to that airplane. Another PT-23. PT-23 is having the radial engine, but very similar to the PT-19 with the Ranger engine that's taking off right now. And the venerable Stearman, PT-17 taking off, and right behind the naval version of the Boeing Stearman built training aircraft. The Navy calls that an N2S. PT-24 is the colors of the Civil Air Patrol, or the markings, I should say. And following on, Dick Smith from New Jersey flying the French Stampe. You'll notice as the Stampe goes by that it's of course a biplane, and has flying into a wind that has a speed of about, off the ground, probably about 15 to 20 miles an hour. So if they're coming towards you at 100 miles an hour, minus the 20 miles an hour that the wind is trying to blow them back away from you, they're only doing about 80 miles an hour over the ground. So I know right now some of you are wondering how old you're going to be by the time the aircraft get here, but they're on the way. And here's Mark Denest in the PT-26, the one with the greenhouse canopy above. PT-19 come along second. That's the same airplane, but without the greenhouse canopy. And there's the PT-23 normally without the greenhouse canopy, but that was an add-on. And here's another example of what we're talking about. Number 82 there is a PT-23. Just like a PT-19, only it has the radial engine on board. That's the Continental radial engine, about 220, 225 horsepower. There's the inline Ranger engine. In that PT-19. The reason that the PT-26, sometimes known as a Cornell, was produced by Fairchild is because the Canadian forces and the Commonwealth training system needed the warmth of having a canopy up over top of them. So Fairchild modified the PT-19 and put the canopy on. Not so with the Boeing Stearman. That's an open cockpit all the way. Same with the Navy version, the N2S. Same 220 horsepower Continental R670 radial engine. And our PT-24, the most modern of the primary trainers flying for you. And here comes the Stampe, the SV4. You see those swept wings, both top and bottom? Well, in order to make an aircraft snap roll, which is like a spin in a straight line, to give it a very rapid roll around itself, what you do is get the airplane slowed down so the wings are barely producing enough lift. And then you jam the stick back and that stalls the wings. The flow over the wings is disrupted and it's not making lift. And at the same time, you stuff in the left or right rudder. If you put in the left rudder, the left wings are going to move aft, the right wings are going to move forward, and they're still creating lift. So they just fly around the wings that aren't flying, the ones that are stalled. And it makes that very rapid roll rate in the snap roll. Well, by having the wings swept, it also increases the effect of that stalling one wing and keeping the other one flying. So the Stampe was very, very good at what they call flick rolls or snap rolls. Yeah, I was mentioning about the wind over the top of the wings. That's right, folks. I know you know the song, The Wind Beneath My Wings, but that's not what makes the lift. It's the wind over the top of the wing that makes the lift. The wind hits that curved leading edge of the wing and goes up over the top of the wing. It actually separates from the wing just slightly and creates a low pressure area on top of the wing. That actually pulls the wing upward, and that's what makes the lift. So when you get it going very slowly, you're not moving that wing through the air fast enough to have the wind come up over the top and make that low pressure area. That's when you begin to get in trouble. If you don't move it fast enough, there's not enough wind over the top of the wing to make the lift, and the wing stalls. There's not a smooth flow of air over the wing, the nose drops down, the airplane is not flying anymore momentarily, and so you get that flow back over the wings once again. The beautiful and sleek PT-24 Fairchild. What a beautiful airplane. And the French-built primary trainer, the Stampe SV4. Aircraft originally had a 140 horsepower Renault 4-cylinder inline engine. Later with an American-built flat 4, developing 180 horsepower. And here's the photo passes of the primary trainers. Put your cameras on them as they come by and pass in review. PT-26, the PT-19. The PT-23 with canopy. And a full PT-19. Correction, PT-23 without the canopy, having a radial engine. PT-19. These aircraft built back in the early 1940s to supply aircraft to train the pilots that were needed to go into combat in World War II. The Boeing Stearman, the open cockpit biplane, and the Navy version EN2S. The sleek PT-24 catching up with the other aircraft. And the Stampe. By the time the production run ended at Fairchild for these aircraft, including the PT-26s, PT-23s, PT-19s, over 7,700 of these aircraft were built. Here they go over a beautiful formation landing. first aircraft on the ground, the wingman just adding just a little bit of power, flying right down the runway, probably even going to go around. You hear some training aircraft starting up, round engines like a couple of our PT-23s. These are just a little bit bigger. The radios you were hearing were 220 or 225 horsepower Continental, 670 cubic inch radial engines. These are twice the size, 1,340 cubic inch Pratt & Whitney radial engines, making 600 horsepower. These are the advanced trainers, and they're going to be coming up next. There you get a good close look at the PT-23 with a greenhouse on top. That's my hangar mate back in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. That's 28-year-old Neil Bachman, an air guardsman, jet aircraft mechanic, flying the aircraft belonging to Regal Aviation at Regal Field in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. And I keep my little pit special up there at that airport, and inside the same hangar is that aircraft. PT-23, which is normally an open cockpit airplane like the one right behind it. PT-19 with a radial engine, if you will. But most of the ones with canopy, you can see the difference in the canopies between number 54 and the second aircraft in line. The PT-26 has the Fairchild built canopy on it, made for the Canadian forces. And the canopy that's on the PT-23 that Neil is flying was an add-on. It's a little bit different design, as you can see. Most of the PT-23s are like the one behind it, open cockpit, radial engine versions of the PT-19, which is number 60, the one that's open cockpit, but with the inline Ranger engine. Number 82 coming down the line. That's Tom Red Latterman from West Milford, New Jersey. Robert Craig from Westchester, Pennsylvania in the PT-19. Number 60 on the side.
All right, guys.
I think that second PT-19 is probably Scott McCarthy from West Milford, New Jersey. And our PT-17 with Alex Alexander from Fort Worth, Texas. The big R670 out front. Love the sound of a radial engine.
Come on, let's go.
And the N2S with Mike Flocker from Neptune, New Jersey. 1943 Navy Stearman, the N2S. Our primary trainers. And the last aircraft coming down the line will be the Stampe SB4.
Hold it up.
This looks like this one probably has the original
Turn it over and hold it open.
inline Renault engine of about 140 horsepower.